early morning workout in before I head to the job. So, gonna try to get an oil change after I get off of work because, I'm gonna have a long drive up to Lake Tahoe. Well, Lake Tahoe is about, from where I'm at, about 3 hours. So that's not that bad. But, got to make sure that, the car has a decent amount of oil, make sure the coolant and all that stuff, and check the tires, make sure they not, strict threading and all that kind of stuff. So, but, nevertheless, man, I felt like I had to do this video because, at the end of the day, you heard a lot of people who called out the PBC on a lot of their antics for whatever reason. You've heard, everybody from Coach Malachi to the homie Scotty to Goodfella Sports TV, and a few other people who just was like, enough is enough. At the end of the day, come January 1st, midnight, January 1st, the PBC will officially not have a stable network home. Now, you get people coming in the comment section talking about Al Heyman is going to Amazon Prime. Well, that's not official. And from what I've been told, Amazon has little interest in Al Heyman. It went from having a lot of interest in Al Heyman, it went to having a lot of interest in Al Heyman to now little, and now maybe next to none, because Al Heyman might have his name getting dirtied out in the streets, and it's well deserved because of some of the stuff he's done. And that's real talk. It's nothing official. Then you hearing the same thing with Amazon. The same thing with DAZN. DAZN is like, yeah, we'll consider bringing you over here, but you're gonna have to let some of your hold on some of the matchmaking go. They want to make certain fights, and that's always been the thing with Al Heyman not wanting to make certain fights and prevent certain fights from happening, and keeping everything in-house between the promoters he used, the network. So basically, he don't have to do cross-promotional deals. So basically, they don't have to split the return on the pay-per-views and the gate and extra and all that kind of stuff, because that's what it's been all about. So one of the things that have bothered me is these attacks are now, everybody then disappeared now. All these people that was telling all these fighters, if you want to get certain fights, you got to go to the PBC. See the PBC blanket. And now that it looked like the PBC dudes get quiet, but then yet these dudes were questionables, credibility, people's loyalty to the culture, to the community, and everybody knows I'm so damn loyal to it ain't even funny. I've cost myself a lot of opportunity because I'm loyal to the soil. I'm really for the culture and the community, unlike certain people. I wasn't a pretender like some of these other dudes on here. I really was for my people and for the culture. But then you had anybody that started to challenge and call out some of the antics of the PBC. They got called fanboys and all this kind of stuff. And, like there was this bitch ass DC nigga, that looked like Baby Animal, talking about I was Bob Aaron boy. But of course his pussy ass said that on the chat line. And like I said before, if I ever see you, make sure you be prepared to say that to my face, because you a mark. And when I called you and confronted you about trying to call me a coon on your channel, you changed your whole tune. But you just like a couple of other dudes, you like to talk big on chat lines and stuff, and then then when people talk to you in person and respond to your little fake challenges, now all of a sudden the tune didn't change. Listen, I'm gonna make this very clear. I'm with it. I'm with it. Even at 49, I'm with it. Because I put in my work, but I'm not celebrating it. But that used to piss me off. But people got all this blind loyalty for Al Heyman, and Al Heyman has done nothing but basically urinate on people. You know, after drinking a lot of Kool-Aid and water. Taking them long urinations, you know, those 3 to 4 minute ones. And then nobody gets nothing in return, all this. And then y'all do know that he does have black fighters on the roster, right? So I'm thinking about them now because of the uncertainty, because, well, they don't know when they're going to be in the ring again. Fighting once a year. They went from fighting 3 times to 2, now 1. Don't have the dates no more. You have to ask yourself what happened. And it just goes to show you everything was smoke and mirrors, smoke and guns, a fraud. Pay-per-view numbers wasn't what was being reported. They wanted certain matchups. This man refused to make them. He was talking his fighters out of taking certain fights. And then he had to know all along this was coming, and he blindsided them. So now you have to wonder, okay, so what's next? What do these guys do now? How do these dudes feed their families? Do they now go fill out applications to be truck drivers, go to trucking school, or what? Take what money they have and go to trade school or something? Become a longshoreman or something? Get their Twitter card? Do they do that now? Because that's what's going on. And I'm talking about all the black people. And as you can see now, there's no certain date or guarantee that we gonna get Crawford versus Spence too, because obviously Showtime don't want it. They don't want to have nothing to do with Al Heyman. Al Heyman burnt his bridges. You know what I'm saying? With a lot of these companies. And then when you call Al Heyman out on his antics, you get people get mad at you and trying to attack you. So I'm asking, what about all these black fighters that's on the roster who don't know when is the next time they're gonna be in the ring come January 1st? If they don't have a date set in stone. Now you hearing that some of these companies may be willing to do a fight-by-fight basis. They do the distributing, but basically Al Heyman gonna have to pay, is gonna have to put up the money. He gonna have to pay out of pocket, which we know he don't want to do. At the end of the day, he could have had a lot of people willing to help him, at least look out for him. But at the end of the day, Al Heyman allowed a lot of stuff to happen. He allowed the PR people, or should I say the people that he got a public relations PR deal with, like Swanson Communications, Magna Media, to basically allow them to dog out, in particularly black media, good black media. He allowed a lot of his black fighters, and particularly the Charlos. I'm not worried about the Charlos. Once again, ain't nobody scared of them niggas. Nobody scared of Jamel or Jamal, because we all know y'all be selling wolf tickets, huff and puff, and ain't gonna blow the house down. We all know that. He allowed them to sit up there and disrespect the media, black media. He allowed them to disrespect and threaten black fighters. Didn't tell them to issue a public apology. But then they got to suck up to Canelo. or to other non-black fighters. Then the issue with Gary Russell Jr. Ain't seen Gary Russell Jr. Ain't seen Gary Russell Jr. in like a couple of years. Kind of interfered with a possible fight between Gary Russell Jr. and Devin Haney. He interfered with Frank Martin. Interfered with Frank Martin and Shakur Stevenson. Interfered with that fight. Interfered with Danny Garcia versus Terrence Crawford. Basically tried to talk Steve Fulton out of fighting the monster. And I'm so glad that Steve Fulton, even in a losing effort, he got that $3 million. Because rumor has it that he tweeted and said he don't know when he gonna be in the ring again. So for all you people that's coming on here trying to attack and cover us and saying, oh, we have an issue with black man, Al Heyman ain't got no power, because if he had power, how come they keep kicking his ass off of networks? And like I said, the worst thing Al Heyman could have did is not make himself a victim. Thank you, Al Heyman, and all of them taking him down. Because they have nothing to thank him for. The only thing they could thank him for is basically screwing him and basically possibly keeping him out of the ring. Do you guys know, by Al Heyman doing this, just because these dudes may be attached to him, you may have promotional companies not want to deal with fighters that's aligned with Al Heyman because of this? Do you guys see the ramification and how problematic this may be? But you want to listen, you don't want to hear that. Because you guys too busy having this loyalty and blind faith to Al Heyman, who doesn't deserve your loyalty and your faith. I don't know why you have faith in him, because he's failed as fighters, he's failed himself, and he's failed boxing. He was on to something, and he screwed it up, just like he did in the music industry. Burnt bridges. To where a lot of the artists that he worked with wasn't getting put on certain promotional tours, wasn't allowed to perform at certain venues because they was aligned with him. I know all about Al Heyman, because like I said, I remember the Budweiser Superfest from the 80s, because that's where he got his start. So just like in the music business, now he transitioned and took his antics to boxing. And that's for that clown that was saying that I have an issue with so-called powerful black people. Dion ain't got no damn power. He just a figurehead. LeVar Ball definitely ain't got no power. He just a nigga with a big mouth. Possibly alleged $1 billion. He supposed to took 500,000 off the top and pocket that. And at the end of the day, you started to slowly see this happening. When Fox ended their deal after 2022 and they just was left with Showtime, you started to see the writing was on the wall. Like I said, if they was translating to basically bringing in a lot of money and a lot of pay-per-view buys, they would still have the Fox deal. They would still have the Showtime deal. But they was putting together fights and pay-per-views that nobody cared about. And it worked at first, the way they advertised it through the fans. It seemed like they had the best roster. When in reality, it was disputable, because whenever he made outside fights, a lot of the times his roster was losing. So if you letting your fighters take outside fights and they're losing, well, guess what? The value of your brand goes down. And people started to see that, saying like, wait a minute, man, they can't be all that. And then you see that he stalled for years. He did everything in his power not to make Crawford versus Spence. And the only reason why he made that fight is because Errol Spence stood up to him. Finally, when he was getting ripped to shreds for not making this fight. And then the worst case scenario happened. Terrence Crawford beats the hell out of Errol Spence, which I think deep down inside Al Heyman knew that was going to happen, because what it was, Al Heyman's plan is take a couple of black fighters, build them up, take a couple of Hispanic fighters, primarily Mexican, build them up, put them in the ring with black fighters, and see can you sell that fight and try to get max revenue. Al Heyman didn't really believe in making black versus black fight. You know, dudes like the Least Attorney with they lying asses and a couple of other people. But like I said, I started to see the light. I was told this back in I was told this back in 2019, if I'm not mistaken, that this was going to happen. I was told by the sanctioning bodies that the PBC was going to pull this stuff and that they was going to hold the Crawford versus Spence. I was told this by the people that work for the sanctioning bodies, that the person that was preventing that fight from happening was going to be Al Heyman. Just like he played a role in Joshua versus Wilder not happening. But like I said, once again, you guys don't want to hear the truth. So for all these people calling me a coon and a sellout and all that kind of stuff because I'm calling Al Heyman out, I'm taking him to task because I don't like how he treat other black fighters. Fuck you. Real talk. Because you don't know what the hell you talking about. Like I said, why do you listen to these guys now? You see now they done been real quiet with all that PBC banging. They didn't stop P-walking now. Now they talking about something else. And then some people's channel was predicated off Spence versus Crawford not happening. I said trying to tear, but I saw y'all sit up here and tear down another black man, but y'all be trying to talk all that pro-black shit. Some of y'all made me sick to my stomach, man. Straight up frauds. With y'all white wives or non-black wives. And if you a nigga that's married to somebody that's not black and you got a problem with me saying it, that's your damn problem. I saw way too much of this for years. Time people that was supposed to be listen, at the end of the day, you go back to non-black promoter or whatever the case may be, inclined to show a little bit more love and favoritism towards somebody that don't look like him. And that's just real talk. But you expect a black person to, look out for other black people and take care of them, and that wasn't the case with Al Heyman. And that's pretty much as simple as pie. I'm making it as transparent as possible. Because at the end of the day, you see this outside of boxing. You just see this period in society. Black people don't even value other black people. Black people value the opinion of other people more than they value other black people. But then black people is the ones that sit up here and spend their money with people that are not black, make them rich, help them have generational wealth, but then they don't want to do it with people that look like them. And that's just real talk. This is the realest talk you ever gonna hear. Like I said, I go through this all the time. Like I said, I'm gonna say this again. In my 5 years of being a media member and covering boxing, I've lost count of how many events that I've done. Like I said, the people that give me the most trouble when trying to get interviews is black people and black fighters. And I'm gonna say this is kind of funny. When I saw Kevin Cunningham talking about this thing with why wasn't people showing love towards Jamel and Harrison Lubin. Harrison Lubin is cool. Harrison Lubin give interviews. And it's kind of funny. Kevin Cunningham, he kind of, I asked him for an interview, and he said he was gonna get back to me. Then when I asked him for the interview, he told me he had to go. But then he's sitting up, and this is what I'm talking about. But now he's sitting up here trying to call out black media and call out the black community for not supporting Jamel Charlo. Jamel Charlo did all that ass kissing. And then these black fighters sitting up there, you know, walking to the ring wearing Mexican apparel. Man, get out of here with that, man. I'm sorry. Hey, Tank, I got love for you, man, but you shouldn't have did that, man. You not from Mexico, you black. Now, the funny thing would be, now, what if David Benavidez came out wearing a dashiki? Or came out in a black leather coat and some shades and a beret looking like Huey Newton? People would be outraged. Mexicans and blacks. That's, if you ask me, Tank should have came out the ring with a dashiki and did Floyd doing that weak shit. That's one of the reasons why sometimes I look at Floyd side-eye, because it's some of his antics, man, doing that kind of stuff. You black, dude. You ain't Hispanic. You ain't Mexican. I don't want to hear that stuff, man. You, Tank is black, man. Get out of here, man. I see both of Tank's parents, both of his parents are black. His dad is black and his mother is black. But you coming out there wearing that kind of stuff. And that, I mean, come on, man. Stop it, man. Stop the cap. And then what do you get out of it? Jamel Charlo was sitting up there sucking up to Canelo, trying to suck up to Mexicans and stuff, and they still gave him the middle finger. Right now, you heard Jamal talking about his kids are getting teased based off how he performed, basically how he went up there and laid down for Canelo, didn't even put forth an effort, and then talking about he do it for the culture, a culture that you spitted on. You sat up there, you made all kind of remarks towards black media. Talking about we broke, we trying to eat off of you and all this stuff, man. Like I said, once again, to all you boxing niggas, ain't nobody trying to eat off of y'all. I have my own 9 to 5. I have my own money. And my thing is, why? Here's the thing. Why you do interviews with these non-black media outlets? You don't have no problem with them eating off of you. Like I said, there's no solidarity with us. And Al Heyman don't have no solidarity. Because like I said, Al Heyman could have helped himself a lot if he had made himself available to the media. Or if he at least, like, had somebody from, you know, hire a PR person to tweet something on his behalf. Even Floyd Mayweather got people doing that. But Al Heyman was the dude that think he could outsmart everybody, think he could hustle everybody. Eventually, people gonna get on to your hustle. People gonna catch on. They gonna figure out what you trying to do. And eventually, Showtime figured out what he was trying to do. It appears that ESPN and CBS picked it up immediately, what he was trying to do. Because they do ask you, when you do these deals, they do ask you what is the plan overall. Because usually when they do a deal with you, if it's for a 3 or 4 year deal, they have a layout and what they expect for you to renew the deal or for them to renew the deal. And if you don't meet the expectations, they're not going to renew the deal. It's just like a record deal. They want you to say, they sign you for a 3-album deal. By the time you get around to the 3rd album, they want you to have sold a certain amount of units. If not, they let you go. It's really that simple. So like I said, once again, everybody talking all this super militant pro-black stuff, man, y'all can kiss my black ass. Cause y'all ain't really about it. And that's just real talk. I'm just keeping it a buck, man. I'm just telling y'all the truth, because that's just something that you guys don't want to hear. And like I said, you got blind loyalty and faith to a dude that don't deserve it. Who then went out of his way to disrespect y'all. Like I said, he got 100 and something fighters that's tied to the PBC, maybe 200, but they don't have no fight dates. They don't know when they're gonna be in the ring again. And then probably if he sells the PBC, who knows? He may have something right where he gonna get a percentage even if the fighters go to another promotional company. But I've been trying to explain this to y'all, but I'm the sellout, I'm the coon, I'm this and I'm that, and y'all don't be knowing what the hell y'all talking about. Like I said before, I saw up close and personal. I saw those non-black fighters, and particularly the Mexican, get preferential treatment from Al Haymon versus the black fighters. So this is where we are now. From 2016, when the PBC was first formed, to where we are now. Almost in the toilet, or in the toilet about to get flushed into the sewer because of Al Haymon and his antics and his ego and his largely huge ego and him trying to hustle people. But I'm a sellout because I'm calling this out. Al Haymon ain't gonna get no $1 billion deal no more. Nobody not gonna hand him X amount of money until he can guarantee these TV networks that he can give people the fights that they want. Like I said before, he cost Frank Martin $1 million. And like I said, Frank Martin should have went over everybody's head and said, I'm taking this meal ticket. I'm taking this $1 million. The hell with y'all talking about? If Derrick James ain't available for me, then oh well, I'll hire somebody else. But one way or another, I'm taking this fight. And he probably told him, well, if you take this fight, then, what happens with Tank? He probably told him he gonna guarantee him a fight with Tank. And now what? We don't know when we gonna see Tank again. And you would think Tank has sold more pay-per-views than Canelo. Tank's last 2 pay-per-views versus Canelo's pay-per-views have sold a little bit more. You would think that Showtime would have been inclined to bring Tank back. And the only reason why Steven Espinosa was in Philly talking to Jerron Boots Ennis because he's scared that Jerron Boots Ennis is going to go somewhere else. Which, if opportunity strikes, he should. Once again, it's not my job to tell people what promotional company to go to. It's not my job. I'm not doing that. Like I said, these dudes are screwed come January the 1st. And depending on how their contract is constructed, they still may not be able to go fight for another promotional company. Well, they said that Canelo has a deal with Showtime that they have to honor, but we won't know till Canelo announces his next fight, because everything is up in the air. There definitely won't be no Terrence Crawford Errol Spence 2, not on Showtime. But yeah, I just wish people would knock this off, man, because it ain't what people make it out to be. Because like I said, Al Haymon been playing the fighters, he been playing the networks, and he been playing the fans. The proof is in the pudding. Like I said, if they were selling the pay-per-views that was being reported and stuff, they'd still have a deal. If they was making fights that the networks wanted, they would still have a deal. Now, Steven Espinosa might could come out of nowhere and throw a Hail Mary, because rumor has it that he's going to CBS. But once again, it's going to come down to what fights that they want to put on. what fights they're going to ask for certain fights. And if they can't deliver, oh well. So it's kind of funny when you think about it. Al Heyman, once again, he tried to give Terrence Crawford a BS deal, which he knew Terrence Crawford wasn't going to take. But then he tried to have people secretly run on social media trying to slander Terrence Crawford's name. And then he used all these PBC apologists and PBC gangbangers that he don't give a damn about, that he wasn't go get him credentials to fights and none of that stuff, to sit up there and like attack anybody that challenges the PBC. And now they look real stupid based off the fact that they didn't get nothing out of it. So just saying, you got blind faith and loyalty in the wrong guy, because Al Heyman ain't that guy. But anyway, I'll be back with more. Just wanted to get this stream in. I'm out.